I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky, drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights, listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
What's up, guys? We here the Goonies, and let's go ahead and start by introducing ourselves.
My name is Aaron. I was a photographer in this simulation, and my main objectives were to take pictures at Camp 1 and Camp 2.
My name is Mitchell, and I was the marathoner. My main goal was to get to the top because I'd done this hike many times, and I'm a very fit person in the simulation.
My name is Eddie, and I am the leader, the team leader, the alpha, the omega, the it all. And my main objective was to get my entire team up to the top, safely and alive.
Did that work?
It did not work. We got 19% done, which was horrible.
Because of a glitch?
Because of a glitch. It was not our fault. It was the computer's fault. Technology sucks.
Yeah.
I'm Caroline, and I was the doctor, and my main goal was to make sure that everyone was healthy throughout the climb and that everyone was taken care of.
Did that work out in our favor at all?
No, I died first.
She didn't die. She got
Alright.
rescued.
I got rescued.
And I'm Jordan, and my responsibility was the environmentalist. The last time I went out in the mountain, I experienced a bad sickness. So I failed my attempt the last time on Everest, but this time my main objective was to conquer it and get to the top. And I care a lot about the trek on the way up, so I wanted to make sure that camps are nice and clean when we left. And yeah, I mean, I feel like this is gonna be my last time due to my health, but I hope I make it.
Yep.
So, Mitch, you'd like to start us off?
Yeah, so the first day we met at Helm 77 and talked about the agenda. At that point, it was 1:13 p.m. in the day, and we went about creating a list of how we can go about the simulation and work as a team. And then later in the week, we met up at the Norland Library, and we got started on the simulation. Before we started, we discussed what each of our goals was and how many points we could get possible to get to the top and complete our goal. But along the way, we had some difficulties, some really big technical glitches, but we went about that pretty good.
And to piggyback off kind of what you were saying about the goals that we needed to meet in order to accumulate points as we did the mountain, what we had to do was weigh the group goals versus each of our individual goals and whatever was the best for the individual or the group at a particular base, whatever it was, base camp, camp 1, 2, 3, whatever. We had to weigh our goal versus the team's goal, which I thought was pretty important.
Yeah, so like before the start of the simulation, we knew that there was going to be some decision-making responsibilities that we needed to cover. So we discussed effectively on who should do what and the order in which things should get done, and the necessary tools and supplies we needed going up the mountain. So we talked good about that, and then we started to make our way up.
And once we started going up, and everyone kind of, like, as the physician, I had to keep an eye on who needed what, and, like, Jordan was really struggling because he needed an inhaler and a lot, like, constantly. And so it was crucial that I had to keep an eye on each person, and then, so that was important because if I hadn't done that, then...
And even though we were all like bickering because we were all at different points in the simulation, like he was on level 6 as I was on 3 and he was on 4. Even though we were like yelling at each other in a sense, we were all getting along really well.
Yeah, we ended up building a pretty good relationship between us 5 throughout the simulation. It did get a little frustrating, but we did handle it in a way where we avoided any conflict between each other, and I definitely feel like we came closer as a group, like each time a difficulty or a challenge came up, and I don't know. I was just really surprised on the fact that we handled it very well, and we basically got better as a group, and were really effective towards the end.
Yeah, I would agree with him. As a leader, he made the best out of a pretty bad situation, and we gave our input, and he kind of filtered that and made the best decision for our group.
And now we party together.
Next. So, Aaron, would you like to lead us in prayer?
Sure, we can pray about social rules if that's okay. But so what I wanted to talk about was that social rules played a tremendous role, in my opinion, in this simulation because before we started and we were at base camp, we had 5 different social rules that we were coming from. Some were similar than others, but really there's 5 different ones that I like to focus on. And what they came down to was me, or the environmentalist and the photographer at different stages wanted to, their social world was completely different in the fact that they came in, they wanted to respect nature, clean up nature like he did on stage 4 of the simulation. I just wanted to take pictures, but other social worlds in our group, such as a leader and marathoner,
we had really big goals on getting to the top, and well, his goal was to get everybody to the top.
Yeah.
But
So going off of that, they wanted to do their thing, take photos and clean up. My job was to have a pretty good construction of what days they could do it and how long they could do it for, who stays at what camp, and basically have a really tight schedule. And sometimes I would limit both of their jobs, which, I mean, sometimes sacrifices a little bit.
It's a part of
the
social world.
Yeah, and you're
Give and
going to
take.
need sacrifice in order to reach the top. Yeah, sure, it's going to limit them, and sometimes it's going to limit my decisions, but at the end of the day, we all get a little bit of what we're supposed to do and enough to reach our goals. So,
moving from that, using each one of us had to have strong self-regulation because, I mean, we all had different goals, but the fact is that using self-regulation, we had to have a lot of teamwork as well, and it could be tough because we all come from different social worlds, even in our own lives. I mean, these 3 play football, and us 2 are more preppy, so.
No, I
this
mean,
is the truth.
And then, self-regulation also is like the controlling outburst. So none of us could have had, all of us had really good self-regulation because none of us had an outburst of, I have to do this, I have to do it now, I'm not taking no for an answer, like this is what I'm doing right now. Instead, we combined social rules, we were able to regulate our disruptive impulses at the time, and it wasn't disruptive to the team, and we were still able to go forward with our...
Even through the glitches.
glitches.
Definitely.
And seeing 5 diverse people coming from all over the country coming together and like trying to get the simulation together, I think it was really cool experiencing the fact that, yeah, we're really different, but we adapted to each other, and that really allowed us to be a lot more effective at the end of this simulation.
Well, and I don't think, like, as a team as a whole, I don't think that we had too much absence of trust. We all trusted each other in the decisions that we made.
Definitely.
If I said we need to do this and this, everybody was like, okay, let's get this
Like,
done.
because
And
with
as
the
the
weather,
leader,
I think that was a big, them 2 really had to coordinate because whatever the weather was and we were climbing altitude, she had more responsibility of inhalers, oxygen tanks, and things of that nature. So what we had to do was you had to communicate and control each other and be able to trust you had to trust the information he was giving you. So
well, you even had some conflict in a sense because you're the only girl in the group. So like, how do you see that?
Yeah.
Well, it could have gone a couple different ways, but I felt that once we all got together as a group, I felt that my voice was heard. And not that it shouldn't have been, but it was. And sometimes it wasn't, but for the most part it was. And in a good way. And like, it was a little bit intimidating at first, like when I first saw what group I was in, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting, but but like it all worked out, and we all worked together, and it was really clear that we did, because if we hadn't, then we wouldn't have been able to make it through like what they said before, the glitches.
And building off of that, I honestly, through all 5 of us, I don't think there was a single lack of commitment overall. I mean, we all texted each other, and everybody replied really early when to get together as a group, and I think that that's really good to have in
And that, I mean, and it showed, because
Yeah.
you know, through her leaving for a weekend, them leaving for a weekend, we were all still committed to, like, we said we'll get back Sunday night or Monday morning, whenever we got together then, so we were all committed to making this the best simulation we could have, minus the glitches that happened.
But yeah, and I think that we had a lot of attention to results even with that. I mean, I was sick. You guys all had things going on, and just the fact that we're getting together at this time right now, it shows as a team. So
I guess you could say that the issues that we had in the simulation, we had like really similar things happen in real life. Him getting sick, for example, us being absent. Part of the glitch was out of nowhere, someone would be in Camp 3, and when you refresh the page, they'd end up back in base camp. So obviously there's a lot of absence there, and you know, we weren't on the same page in the simulation, but
We were committed to
We were
finishing,
committed,
and
yeah.
there wasn't an absence of
we found
Absent.
a way.
what's the word? There wasn't an absence of commitment on anyone's part. Communication, commitment,
yeah.
any C word. Really.
Our coordination was great as well, and
Yeah.
Everything.
and even though we planned a really good agenda that to get ready for the simulation,
was flexible.
our planning didn't work out at all, and I think that you guys know that it showed in our results, as we got 19%, but that wasn't us, because I think we worked great as a team. So
And even though,
100%.
yeah, and even though we had like our plan from the beginning, obviously there's gonna be things that change that, you know, remove us from the path that we once were intended to be on. But all 5 of us really did adapt well to, you know, moving through the lines and really, you know, working hard to finding the best possible way to get back on the path. And I mean, I was really impressed by you guys.
Yeah, me too. Appreciate it. And so I think we can end it that way. This segment.
So we are now reflecting back on what we experienced throughout these days, throughout this past week of doing this simulation. Any thoughts?
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, technology played a big role in this. The entire experience was based off technology and signing into the Harvard Business simulation aspect of it. Before we all started, we discussed our personal responsibilities and planned meetings through technology with our cell phones and group text. So technology was a big key aspect of this whole group project, and we communicated effectively through technology, and yeah.
All right, so we
Yeah,
can just start
I
with our
think
overall
that-
experience.
Yeah, overall, it went well, and even though there were bumps in the road, we got through it and bonded as a group.
I love
Friends
these.
for
I
life.
love these people. They're funny. We're all closer as a group now, and I think when we walk into recitation, we'll know who to talk to. It's a good experience. So, thank you guys.
These
Mountain-
guys.
Mountain simulation.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
What do you want to say?
I love you guys.
We love you.
Are you with me? Are you with me?